I was just having a rant with myself in the bathroom, which is why we're still in the bathroom, for like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. And I was like, dude, I wish I recorded all that. And I still had more to say. So I stopped myself, and now here I am. You get to join me in on my brainstorm, brain fart, whatever you want to call it, about, I don't know, just like understanding more about our place in the world, humans versus the rest of nature, and how we think about things versus how maybe animals might think about things, how we basically set ourselves up for disappointment because we have belief systems. I'm going to tell you my experience about what I do and how it hurts me in the end. I think a lot of people watching this will be like, okay, yeah, that's me too. I think all humans do what I'm saying in a general sense. Like, I'm not saying we think about things the same way. As humans, we make boxes. You have a box for your best friend. You have a box for your parents. You have a box for your siblings. You have a box for your coworkers, for your boss, for the world, for strangers. Right, we have boxes. The box is built on our own rules and our own belief systems. And we try to put the person in the box, or the people in the box. And when they don't perfectly fit in the box, we get disappointed. So for example, I have a box that I built for what I expect from a brother. This is not a personal thing, right? It's not like my brother specifically as a human being, this is what I expect from him. No. This is what I expect from a brother, right? So I create a box based off of what I expect from a sibling, and I construct this box, and I get really disappointed every time my sibling, my brother, doesn't fit in my box. It hurts me in the end. It doesn't hurt him, it hurts me. Same thing with my parents, same thing with my friends, and I continue to get disappointed. I know this is my own fault. I do this about the world. Like, think about everything that's going on right now. It's extremely disappointed to think that there are people in this world that are evil. There are people in this world, right? Evil, again, there's a belief. There's people in this world that do bad things, or killing people, killing children, stripping families apart, destroying cities. Like, I have a box for the world, or for humanity, right? It's not in the box. What my perfect world would be, my perfect version of what I expect from humanity, is not in the box. It is spilled out of my box completely. And I am consistently disappointed in humanity. And there's obviously parts of humanity that fit perfectly in my box, and I'm like, oh my God, I love to see it, right? And it makes me happy. It makes me happy when people fit in my boxes, right? That's the whole belief system. But if you think about it, I'm setting myself up for failure. One, it's impossible for someone to know what my box entails because it's inside of me. I can't even tell you all the subconscious and unconscious beliefs I have that have created the box. It's like every movie I ever watched, every conversation I ever had, every experience I've ever had that made me feel a certain way about this specific thing, and there's the box. I can't even explain to you, but there's the box. I don't explain to everyone in my life about my freaking boxes. It's just, this is just like how it works. This is my mentality. This is my perspective, right? And perspective matters. You have to understand that, like, people are who they are. There's different layers to it even. So I have a brother box. I put my brother in the box and I see how he fits in it, right? And then I have a friend box, and I could put my brother as a human being in my friend box and see how he fits in my friend box. And he might not fit in that box either. People will never meet your expectations because your expectations are impossible to achieve. Think about yourself. Like, we have boxes for ourselves. So I have a box of what I expect of myself. But I think I treat myself differently than I treat other people, right? I'm much more lenient with myself. And like, although I have a box for myself, if I spill out of it or if I don't fit perfectly in it, I don't beat myself up for it. If you didn't go to the gym today, if you didn't finish the assignment, if you didn't finish your work or whatever it is, like, we're not going to beat ourselves up over it. We're going to accept it and just love ourselves. So you have to do the same for others. The best solution to this is to not make boxes. Because the moment you make the box, you set yourself up for failure. Nothing and no one will ever fit perfectly in your box. Unrealistic. Impossible. In this reality, right? Like maybe when we die and in the afterlife, we're in heaven and you can create your perfect reality. Sure. In this human experience, in this incarnation, it doesn't work like that. Before I get into like how I think nature might approach making boxes or not making boxes, I want to talk about my perspective on humans. I believe that everyone is born pure. I don't think anyone is born evil, right? You're not born with an ego. You're not born hurt and angry and mad. You are born pure. It is only through conditioning, life experiences, programming, etc., that shape who you end up becoming. Everyone in the world was born pure. So think of like, let's say Adolf Hitler, because he's dead and we can easily talk about him. Hitler was born as a pure baby, right? And there are things that happened to him that made him the way that he was. So as a human being, I have compassion and empathy for you because you weren't naturally like that. You were made like that. You were shaped in this way. Do you fit in my box? No. You might fit in a different box, right? But you won't fit in my, like, let's say, great leader box, good person box. We don't have an understanding of our place in this universe to begin with. Everyone has different perspectives on it, right? Some people think that we're just a blip and we're just gonna like get obliterated and that like we were an accident or that we're like an experiment. Some people think this is divine. Some people think that we are the apex, most evolved species and blah, 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 right? There's so many different perspectives. When we look at the rest of this planet that we live on, everything else seems to function differently than us, right? We are very disconnected from nature. Because we are not grounded in knowing who we are, what our place is, and we are not connected with our ecosystem, or at least consciously connected with it. Like we are subconsciously the air we breathe, the food we eat, right? Like we are the earth, but we don't feel connected to it because we don't understand that we are one, right? We don't understand that even as humans, we are one. And then with nature, we are one. Animals, for example, I think animals understand their place in the universe and they don't do what humans do. Do animals have introspection? Like, do they think about something that happened to them? I don't know. But I don't think animals put us in boxes. I don't think they make boxes. I think they're just full empathy, full compassion, and full acceptance of nature. In nature, what we call bad, like bad things happen all the time. Fires happen, natural disasters happen, animals die and they kill each other, they eat each other, things like that, right? That is nature. Different than our perspective. Like a dog is a great example of this because a dog can have an abusive in our terms, an abusive owner. They could be starved. The owner could just never feed the dog, maybe not feed them as much as maybe they should, not really take them on walks, maybe hit the dog, abuse the dog. I don't necessarily think the dog has a good owner box, crying and sad and thinking about what just happened. I think they can have trauma for sure, but I don't think they're like, man, I wish I had a better owner. I wish my owner would this, you know? Whereas humans, we're like, oh, I wish my friend treated me better. I wish blah, 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 right? All these things. I don't think dogs have expectations of us. I think they accept their owner as they are. They are always grateful. And they love you to the fullest. I'm sure if the most abusive dog owner in the world was crying, the dog that they abused would probably be licking their tears and being there for them and absorbing all the negative energy and shaking it off. I don't necessarily think that nature puts things into boxes, that there are good squirrels and bad squirrels and, you know, good dogs and bad dogs. I feel like they just accept everyone as they are and they love them unconditionally, which is really fucking hard for humans. And I don't know if it's possible. I think that's like the whole point, right? The whole point of our evolution is to get to a point where we are also one with nature and where we understand everyone as they are. Like, come as you are. I love you as you are. I don't expect anything of you, so you can't disappoint me. I am you and you are me. It's hard though, because we will always have things that we prefer. We will always have things we don't prefer, things we like, what we don't like. I would never actually change anything. Like, I want Calvin to be my boyfriend. I want my brother to be my brother. I want my parents to be my parents. I would never change who they are. But like, in another life, it's like, couldn't it be better? Couldn't they have a healthy relationship? Couldn't we be closer? Couldn't this? Couldn't that? Unrealistic. And maybe it's not supposed to be like that. Maybe it's actually better somehow that we aren't as close. And that's fine. And I accept that. Maybe me and my friend are not meant to be friends forever. Maybe we were just friends at that time. It makes life hard to have boxes. You feel like a victim when things don't go your way. If I expect something from a friend and my friend never meets that expectation, it's just not in their nature, it's not who they are, then I consistently am getting disappointed and I'm like, why am I still friends with this person? It doesn't meet my expectations of what a friend should be. It's not my friend's fault, it's my fault, because it's my beliefs that shape my perspective. I'm the one making the box to begin with. Had there not been a box that I made, would anything matter? And I don't expect anything from anyone. And I don't know, how do you get to that point? How do you genuinely get to a point where you don't have unconscious and subconscious expectations? I don't know if that is humanly possible. Maybe it's possible in other species, but maybe for humans it's not. Or maybe it's just the way that we are right now because the Matrix, right? You've been conditioned to not be yourself. You've been conditioned to judge. Like, if I accept my brother for who he is and my boyfriend and my parents and my friends for who they are, and then I tell someone else, there's another layer, right? I'm like, how are you going to perceive me based off of my family, based off of my friends, based off of my partner that I chose, right? It's when we learn more about someone that we shape our perspective on them. Maybe I have a friend and she just has a new boyfriend and I don't like this boyfriend. Now I'm like, she doesn't respect herself enough to have a boyfriend. And like, we are fully just judging. And so I create boxes, not only based off of my own beliefs, but based off of how I think other people would perceive me. I think it's very common for humans to do this. How do we get to a point where we love unconditionally, where we understand our place in the world? We need to understand that we are genuinely one, right? It's humanity as a whole. Imagine like a beehive. There's every bee in the beehive, but there's the beehive. The productivity and the outcome of the beehive is dependent on the entire hive mind, but also each individual worker at the same time. So if one worker starts to change themselves, perceive life differently, and break down their boxes, and just not create boxes, and love people when they don't even fit in their boxes, or love the other bees when they don't, work the way that they expect them to work, the entire hive mind would shift. That's how humanity changes, is you realize that it's not because of the external world. Nothing out here can be fixed. They're never gonna change. And they're not the ones who need to change. I need to change. This is still hard. If you think about all the wars that happen in the world, all the fucked up shit that happens in the world, it makes me frustrated, sad, disappointed, angry. I'm not hopeless though. I have hope. Like, I know the solution, I know the root cause. But it's like, how the fuck do we get this to the masses is a whole nother discussion. So I get frustrated and I get mad when humanity doesn't fit in my humanity box, right? There's things I expect from humans, but people don't fit in my humanity box because they have been misinformed, confused, conditioned by the Matrix, by society, by their experiences. Fear and separation, division, like all of those things come from societal conditioning, from media, social media, society, telling you who to be, who not to be, putting us in a state of fear, separation, that we're different from one another. Like, all that's just bullshit. And it's taught in schools, it's taught in families, it's taught in communities, and it's bullshit. We grow up like that, and we become adults, and we pass it on, we pass it on, we pass it on. And then this stupid idea just proliferates. Disconnected from each other, disconnected from nature. Like, this is my family, I need to care about my family's survival, and fuck your family. And it's like, how could you be so selfish? I have to find compassion for that and empathy for that. That's the thing, is like, I understand why someone is the way that they are. I understand why the Matrix is the way that it is. It makes total sense to me. But making sense of the situation is only like a part of understanding the puzzle, but it doesn't solve anything, right? It helps me understand it, so then I can like be like, okay, I know what's conditioning the truth versus like what they're making seem like the truth. And I can follow what I know is genuinely true. Okay. And that's the inner work that you do. And then you find yourself, and then you don't follow the fucking conditioning. And then slowly over time that proliferates. Because like the way I teach my children will be different, right? Like, I'm breaking generational curses. The way my parents were taught, they tried to do it to me. It didn't fucking work. Now I'm literally on social media talking about this stuff all the time, because it's like, I have woken up, right? I've woken up to the system, to the Matrix, to the bullshit. I've understood more about who we are as humans, and that we are genuinely all one, both on a scientific and a spiritual level. And it's like, how are we hurting ourselves? How are we so lost, so confused? Like, it's so much simpler than what we make it out to be. But it's this huge, huge global problem. I will still be angry seeing children die, seeing children get starved, seeing any human facing any injustice. It's not about certain people, certain groups and races and ethnicities. Again, those are all human constructs and terms meant to divide people. I don't believe in any of that shit. I believe in humanity, in all of consciousness. And the animals, the planet, they're conscious, they're living, they're alive. They deserve respect. The same respect that we respect ourselves. And the way you respect yourself, you should respect other people. There's no discrimination, no injustice. That is a perfect utopia that I have hope for. I think that is possible. It is our nature. Think about babies. Babies are naturally curious, loving, pure consciousness. They're not evil, they're not mad, they're not angry until parental conditioning, societal, institutional conditioning comes in. And then they become little angry people and evil kids. Like, kids can do fucked up shit, right? But it's not like they were born like that. Even if you had two fucked up parents that were like murderers and whatever the fuck, the baby is pure. And the baby has potential. Everyone has the potential, because you are pure consciousness. As a person, I have to accept the world as it is. But not accept it like, I can't do anything about it, right? That's not what I mean. We can agree that this is where we are at consciously. I know that I am the root of my experience and my perspective. No one else has control over it but me. I have to change myself and the way that I look at the world in order to change the world around me. It all comes from a belief system. Beliefs shape how we feel, right? Someone doesn't fit in my box, I get angry. I feel emotions, negative emotions, energy in motion. Someone fits in my box, happy energy in motion, happy emotions. Matter is energy. Everything is energy, physical and non-physical. And that energy is consciousness, or God, or the universe, whatever you want to call it. Energy has different states, right? If you think about water, right? Water can be an ice cube, a liquid, it could be vapor, and it's all based off of vibration. And the vibrational state of myself influences the vibrational state of the world around me. If I focus on my emotions, then I change the world. Behavior is shaped by emotions. If I'm angry, I'm going to behave differently than if I'm happy. Imagine I'm driving, I'm happy. Imagine I'm driving and I'm angry. Those are two different people. That goes for anything and everyone in every situation. So what happens in your life is based off of your emotions. How are you feeling right now? If you're in a good mood when you're watching this video, you will perceive it differently than if you were in a bad mood. Watching a movie, eating a meal, right? I can meal prep the same meal that I made on the same day, and today I'm angry eating it and I don't like it. But tomorrow maybe I'm in a good mood and I'm eating it and I really like it. I literally experience the world differently based off of my emotion, which is energy and motion. And your emotions are dictated by your belief system. Me being angry about someone not fitting in my box is because I believe that in order to be a good brother, you need to my beliefs. In order to be a good person, you need to my belief system. My world, the way I experience the world, is dictated by my beliefs. The first thing all of us need to do is to introspect and think about our belief system. A lot of us have beliefs that we don't actually believe in, or you don't even know where they came from. You're like, I don't like this. And someone's like, well, why don't you like it? And you're like, I don't know, I just don't like it. Figure out why you don't like it. Go back, think about your childhood, think about where that fucking belief came from. Did someone just plant it in your head? Oh my God, I was so fat in 2022. Why do you think you were fat? And you're like, because I was. And then you're like, see, look at this picture. I'm like literally so fat. And it's like, okay, what is your belief system around being fat? Like, who told you that that was fat? There are people that have literally eating disorders and are not fat. They are not fat, but they genuinely believe they are fat. And they believe they're fat because someone, society, parents, school, whoever it was, someone planted that shit in their head. And they took it as truth, and that seed took its roots in their brain, and then they grow up as adults. They develop these eating disorders because of their belief system. So you experience the world differently because of your belief system. Most of it stems from shit in our childhood or our younger years. There are things that happen to us that traumatize us, emotions that need to be processed. Some of us are carrying emotions and from traumatic events, and they're literally stored in our bodies. You cannot suppress your feelings. You gotta let it out. And a lot of people are hurt, and they didn't have anyone to talk to. They didn't have tools to take that energy out of their body. That's why art is amazing, because you can literally take a traumatic experience and put it on a canvas. Put it on a paper. Get it out of your body. You gotta get it out. And that will physically manifest. And you can get actually chronic diseases and experience a lot of physical pain because of stored emotions. Energy is everything. Everyone needs to do the inner work. When you do the inner work, not only will you change the world around you because you changed your perspective and you changed your beliefs, but other people with their own personal realities, they will look at you and be like, how the fuck is she doing that? Like, how are you not triggered? Like, I get amazed when I get triggered by someone in my life, and my boyfriend is like, I didn't see it like that. I have like all my beliefs and everything that person ever did to me, and like, I get triggered because I can see it differently than my boyfriend sees it. It's like, I wish I didn't give a fuck. I wish I didn't care. I wish I didn't feel like that, right? You don't have to feel like that. And you gotta fucking tease it out if you care, which you should. This is your life. You're causing destruction in yourself because you feel like a victim, right? Because you are a victim, but you're also the perpetrator. Just like a bee in a hive, when one worker starts to vibrate a little bit differently, the other workers are going to pick up on that, and then they're going to change their vibration. It's a ripple effect. Lead by example. And I've experienced this in my real life. I realized that they're the problem. They're not going to change themselves physically, right? I have to change myself, and then they changed. They changed when I just did shit to myself. We never even talked about it. There was nothing to be said. It's insanity how it works. You are the root of your own personal reality, your own experience. It's no one else's fault. I'm sorry, it's a pill to swallow. People do things to you, yes. How you perceive those things is up to you. How you feel about it, your emotions, whether you're triggered or not, is up to you, right? Your perspective is up to you. How you feel is up to you. change the way you feel about things. That changes how other people feel. When someone walks into a room and you can like just feel the uplifting energy, or you can feel like, oh, my boss is mad. Like you can feel that. Yeah, we literally have an electromagnetic frequency around us that is emitting our state of being. So our emotion, how we feel right now, is letting out a vibration, right? That's why you got to feel out the vibes, right? You go on a date and it's like, yeah, it wasn't really the vibe. Like we literally talk about these things, but we don't realize that they're actually real, right? It's like actually energy that you're sensing. You are mixing with, like when people are literally close to each other, close in proximity, you guys are influencing each other's vibrational states. So when I'm in a grounded, high energy vibrational state, if I encounter a really negative person, they're going to take some of my high vibration and I'm going to take some of their negative vibration. That's why you shouldn't really surround yourself by negative minded people, because that shit could be draining. They will pick up on, why is she so fucking happy, right? And they might get triggered by that at first. And then they're going to see how you live your life. They're going to watch you and be like, she didn't react like that. Why didn't she get mad? And they're going to think, because this is what humans do, and then they're going to shift their own belief system. And then they change their vibrational state, right? So you don't even know who you could be affecting. You could just be passing by a stranger in the street and they see your confidence, your energy, and they're like, how is that person happy? Like, how did they not get mad about this thing? And it shows you your belief. That stranger didn't react the way I would have. And I would have reacted that way because I believe this, and this. And I would have gotten so mad about it. And I would have felt negative emotions, which then have a ripple effect on my world around me. I'm fucking myself in the end. We're constantly learning and immersed in this energetic field, and it's changing our energetic state. Each of us as individuals change our energetic state by changing our belief system. Then over time, the entire hive mind will shift its vibration. And that's the conscious evolution. Understanding who we are, getting to a place of love, unconditional love, acceptance, the same way nature does. I was trying to be someone that society told me to be, that my family told me to be. That's not who I was. And I've allowed myself to be authentic, to be myself, to find myself. I'm still on that journey. I have awoken to the matrix. So now I'm no longer going to the system that guarantees fear, oppression, injustice. That's not natural. That is human-made. We need to, one, wake the fuck up and be like, oh, that's a scam. I'm gonna go find myself. I'm gonna go the natural route, find myself, work on myself. If everyone did that, if everyone understood that, obviously the world would change. We only get to that point of knowing when we have experienced that we are one. But you will never experience that if you are stuck in the matrix. Things outside of me don't change. Only things inside of me can change to change the things outside of me. That is the root, not the outside stuff. That shit is an illusion, right? It's a manifestation. It manifests because of myself. Just gotta focus on doing the inner work. It never ends. I personally cannot just immediately burn all the boxes, but I might be able to make the box a little less rigid. And over time, I'll realize that there doesn't need to be a box. For humanity, these are boxes that are really complex. And I gotta really dig through my belief system and really understand why the fuck I made the box the way that I made the box. Should there be a box? How can I get to a point where I feel at peace and I'm not triggered and I'm not upset? Because again, that's what the Matrix wants, right? Social media triggers us on purpose. But then you don't want to be ignorant and not know what's going on in the world. So how can I take this information, not get triggered by it, and not be ignorant? Life is hard. It's complex. I love you if you stay for this long. Yeah, good luck to us all.